This is the Demystifying Mental Toughness Podcast, hosted by David Charlton, and you're listening to this podcast to help you build your own mental toughness, or so that you can support other people or your clients better. Either way, you will learn more about developing this plastic personality trait that all but guarantees that you will perform better and lead a more prosperous life.
Hi there, I hope you're well. I'm feeling refreshed and re-energized and raring to go after having a week off recently with the family. We went overseas on a family holiday to Bulgaria, a place I've never been to before, which I've got to admit was a pleasant surprise. For us, it was a very relaxing holiday, next to the beach, next to the pool. Certainly, a lot of time was spent watching the kids have fun and making friends, while simply enjoying the sunshine and some much needed chill time reading books. For me, it was Jack Reacher. I read a number of Jack Reacher's books, tried to stay clear of work-related books on this holiday, as a rest was much needed. That and enjoying some different activities, a little bit of sightseeing and a few beers. It's really set me up now. So, on to the show. Well, in today's episode, I link back to episode 118 of the Demystifying Mental Toughness Podcast, where well-renowned sports psychologist to many PGA Tour golfers, Bob Winters, talks to me about how you can develop a personal playing philosophy. That's right, Bob refers to golf as it's a sport that he's heavily involved in. However, it does overlap to any sport or area of performance. He also talks about limited or limitless thinking, which I find fascinating. Here are Bob's thoughts.
Well, first thing I would ask, and I've asked this, of the best players in the world, whether it was a Justin Rose or a Michelle Wie or a Lee Westwood, even if I've actually sat down with them, because they were all students of David Ledbetter, and I had a chance to sit down and work with all of them. But the first question I would ask you, David, in relations to your golf, are you good? What would you tell me? Yes or no?
I'm good, but I can improve.
Well, say that's the whole point. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that patella reflex, that knee-jerk response. Yes, I'm good. And then, it leads me to a follow-up question. How do you know that? How do you know that you're good? And what do you base, that belief of being good upon? And that kind of leads you off into a whole different, direction. I remember years ago here in America, many, many years ago, there was a great African-American baseball player by the name of Satchel Paige. And Satchel Paige played a lot of different leagues. And at that time, before he joined the Major League Baseball Association, I believe it was the Cleveland Indians, he was 43 years old when he signed his first professional baseball contract. And he was at spring practice, and some of the younger players, were maybe 20, 21, maybe 19, some of the young guys, they looked at him, they said, "Paige, how old are you, man? Because, we know you're not, a young person like us." And he looked at them and he says, "Boys, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you was?" And they all started laughing because it's a great philosophy of life and age, right? He said, "Age is mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter." And so I started thinking about that in sports performance. How good would you be if you didn't know, and I'll use a Paigeism, how good you was? And then that led me to the other question. How good would you be if you didn't know how good you could be, or you could possibly be, or how good you had to be on that certain day? So for me, it opens up, the possibilities of your mind to have no limits thinking. So what I talk about with people is personal playing philosophy. We need to get out of realistic thinking, probability thinking, statistical thinking, logical thinking almost, and get into possibility thinking. The great, golfer Brad Faxon said, "If you can't be great, if you just think realistically." And he was talking about putting. He was talking about golf. I mean, if you really want to become great, you can't think realistically, because everyone in the whole world, David, is going to be pulling you down and asking you questions like, "Who do you think you are? You're not that good. You think you can compete with him or her?" And so we always have to deflect and block all of these boo birds, to naysayers, to negativity. And that's why when you see someone who is going after their dreams, they're viewed as rather eccentric. They're viewed as different. And what I'm always telling people If a lot of people are saying, you're going the wrong way, you're different, you're not doing it right, what I found is you're probably on the right track to your own personal greatness.
Yeah, and our brains are negatively biased, aren't they? So instantly, although I said I'm a good putter, a good player, the vast majority of players are going to come back and say, no, I'm average, I blow hot and cold. They're probably going to come back with that response.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they have sort of they're confident because they do have, an acquired, sense of competence, both physical and psychological competence, meaning they have mastery of the skills, but their confidence is based on outcomes and results. And it's really what I call a bogus or false confidence, which is conditional confidence. On the condition that all my shots go straight and all my putts drop, then I will start to feel confident. And that's not confidence at all. I mean, confidence is saying, I know what I know, and this is what I do. And if I don't get the results, I'm going to continue my process of believing in my talent. But that's a lot easier to talk about because it's really easy to walk, talk, and act like a champion, when you're making all the shots and everybody's kissing your buns and making you feel good about yourself. But can you walk, talk, and act like a champion when you're playing like a chump? And that's the whole thing about, success and failure. And I'm always telling my athletes, listen, if you want to be a success, you have to understand the first three letters of success is SUC, suck. You'll probably suck before you'll have success.
Okay, so I'm going to hone in on limitless thinking and how that applies to you. How does it apply to you, I wonder? How can you change a limited mindset or a realistic mindset to a limitless mindset? Well, I'm going to try and help you. I've asked myself this question a number of times before recording my words of wisdom. And the angle I've decided to attack this is by imagining your idol or someone that you look up to. I'm going to stick to golf, with it being my sport, or certainly the sport that I play. And Tiger Woods, well, he's a similar age to me. I grew up watching him triumph time and again. So he would be the idol for me that I'd be looking at. So I could ask myself a good question, or even a great question, I suppose. And that would be, what would Tiger have done in his prime? And this can relate to wanting to develop certain skills. It can relate to process in specific situations, the types of emotions, how he might be feeling, how he thought his way around different decisions in these situations, and then the behaviours that linked to these situations. As an example, as a golfer, I'm going to look at putting. So my putting statistics are pretty average. Around about 33 foots per round is what you'd likely see from me. Now, if I was to reduce that to 29 or 30, which is what the tour players go round in, or possibly a little bit less even, I've lost 3 or 4 shots, even 5 shots per round. Now, I play off a 2 handicap, that means I play off plus. That's limitless thinking. Or is it? Even setting the bar at 29 putts, well, that's actually putting a limit on my performance. So as Bob says, let's go unrealistic. How about I look to get round in 24 putts? Yes, I know it's pretty much impossible. However, it opens up my thinking there to be limitless. If I'm going to go around in 24 putts, the likelihood is that I'm going to miss most greens, currently as it is, and I'm going to get up and down. But I don't want that. I want to be able to finish with 24 putts per round, yet hitting greens in regulation. Getting up and down from around the greens, yes, but more so for birdies than actually saving par. So limitless thinking, well, it means looking at this in more depth. How can I make this happen? What are the tools I have in my toolkit? How can I improve those tools? Do I need coaching? Do I need to improve my technique? Do I need to put more time into my short game or into my approach play? Then how am I going to go about it? How would Tiger approach trying to go round in 24 putts? I need to be asking myself all of these questions. I probably need to be chatting to my coach about it, speaking to other people that I trust too. And then I need to get a pen and paper out and put a plan. And then obviously I need to then take action. For you, who is your Tiger Woods in your sport? What is it that you would like to make limitless? Please do reach out. Let me know. DM me. Send me an email. My email address is info@sport-excellence.co.uk. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. And obviously, I hope you found this useful. Please do also sign up to the Mental Edge newsletter, where there's going to be many more tips and tricks designed to help give you a mental edge and some limitless thinking. Until next week, take care of yourself.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Demystifying Mental Toughness Podcast with David Charlton, do check out my website, sport-excellence.co.uk, and my online sport psychology resources. The Sport-Excellence website has essential resources for anyone looking to build their own mental toughness or the mental toughness of their athletes or teams, or if you want to achieve peak performance more often or optimal functioning. The Sport Excellence website has everything you need to keep moving forward and thrive. So go on, head over to sport-excellence.co.uk to find out more.